Surely it's very hard to know it, Yani. Yani, sometimes I think, why me? Why you never expect it will happen to you.
Hello and welcome to Speaking Of, a podcast brought to you by Axios International. I'm your host, Asma Ali Zain, and in this podcast, we give voice to those whose stories often go unheard. We provide a platform for patients to share their insights, perspectives, and journeys with others facing similar struggles. These are stories of hope, stories of support, and stories of healing. These are your stories. A cancer diagnosis is a life-changing event for any person. The news hits even harder when you aren't expecting such a diagnosis. Something similar happened to a young mother 3 years ago. To protect her identity, we will call her Karima. What makes Karima's story particularly unique is that she discovered her diagnosis by chance, and to this day, she has not shared this information with her family. In our conversation today, we'll hear about her experience of receiving this life-changing news, her emotions and thoughts at that point. We will ask Karima about her decisions regarding her treatment and why she wants to keep this diagnosis a secret from her loved ones. Welcome to Speaking of, Karima. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for joining us and taking us through your journey. Can you tell us about your experience with breast cancer, including when you first diagnosed and how you learned that it had spread to your bones?
Okay, I knew first December 2020. I suffered from, I usually suffer in winter yani, from back pain. Mm-hmm. I was used to it yani, every winter, but this time yani, I was yani, severely sick. I had severe pain in my back to the degree I couldn't move yani. Mm-hmm. So I went to my doctor. He asked for some MRI and some imaging, and when I went to the doctor, there was a malignant change in the bone. So he suggested that I should go to someone, to an oncologist to see what is the origin. He thought then that the origin was not in the bone. Mm-hmm. So I went to upon his advice, I went to an oncologist. We made some investigation. He rapidly suggested to make that I have to make a mammogram. I went and they actually found something. They followed by taking a biopsy and. After analysis, pathology analysis, it was then diagnosed.
So that must have been a very shocking moment for you. I remember we had conversation. You mentioned you were alone and, you were just at the doctor's office. You were not expecting this kind of diagnosis. Tell me how you felt at that point.
Yes, it was really shocking actually, and I did not expect it. And even the doctor himself, he told me you are still young. He asked me if I have any family history. Did you suffer from any signs? Like I know some signs for the breast cancer, but which was not apparent in my case. Only one of the signs. I didn't know about is having a rash on the skin. Sometimes in the summer, I usually I suffered then from a rash under the breast, which I did not know this is a sign for, which may be a sign for breast cancer. So I just treated it normally at home. I didn't make a fuss about it, but actually it was a sign which I did not know.
So you just mentioned that the doctor asked you if there was a family history and all that. So is there a family history? Do you have a family history of breast cancer?
Not a breast cancer, other types of cancer. My aunt had lung cancer. She recently passed away actually, and when I told my doctor in the same in the same time of her passing away, he suggested that I make a BRCA test for the genetic monitoring if this is genetic transpassed in our family. So I did the test and it was negative. Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah.
But and he told me that lung cancer it's not usually direct to breast. I don't know, actually. I don't know the origin of the information today.
Right, cancer just happens. I know I'm just asking this question, but because it's a very obvious thing that doctors know about, but cancer can happen to anyone. You can't, like your case, we didn't even expect it. So you had also, Karima, mentioned earlier that you haven't told your family yet about your diagnosis. Can you tell me a little bit about why you took this kind of decision, and what concerns you or your fears were, about sharing this information with them?
Actually, this is a hard decision. I have a small family, just me and my husband, and I only have one daughter. I actually told only my husband because I need someone to cover for me when I'm not at home. But especially my small daughter, I didn't want to disturb her. She's still young. She's in high school, and next year she will be having her final high school year. So it's a critical time for her. I think she's underexperienced, somehow shy. She's a lonely child. So out of compassion, I thought it's not time for her to deal with such a fact. We are very close together. That's why. But other things, as long as I can manage, thank God I did not take any chemotherapy which influences my appearance, which will change my appearance actually. So thank God it didn't go this far.
Thankfully. No, but I still think it's a very, very brave decision of yours to keep it to yourself, because it's not a small disease that we are talking about here. But coming to that, how have you been managing your treatment and symptoms, and what has been actually working for you?
Actually, I went several places before ending up with my following doctor now, excellent doctor. I asked a lot where can I manage, what is the protocol. Also, I have a sister which lives abroad in Canada. I sent her my analysis. She's a doctor too. I sent her my analysis results, and she confirmed the diagnosis, confirmed the trend of treatment which my doctor recommended. Actually, breast cancer patient especially. And finally, I ended up with this doctor, which is an excellent doctor. The thing about him, he's very up to date about new treatments. He's a private doctor. It's not in the governmental section. Although I have a coverage through my insurance. According to my work, as I work in some governmental organization, but I did prefer to go to this doctor so I can obtain the best, newest treatment possible.
That's great. But that is the physical aspect of it, and I can see that you're very strong. You're able to manage yourself. But what about a cancer? Cancer has emotional and psychological impact as well, especially yours that has grown into from the bone or to the breast and all that. So how have you coped with that, and is there anything you're doing particularly that has been helpful for you?
Surely it's very hard to know it, Hani. Sometimes I think, why me? Why you never expect it will happen to you. But surely I do not lead a very 100% healthy life, but you never expect it will happen to you. But at the end, I have strong faith in God. I think all of us will end up. This is inevitable.
True.
So it's one way or another. And I take it like this. Yeah, I think about it like this. I do my best to lead a non-painful life as much as I can. It surely did change my perspective for many things in life. But finally, I have faith in God. I do my best. This way or another way, it will end sometime.
So I wanted to also ask you about how were you introduced to Axios International programs, and how is that program helping you in your journey?
I was actually introduced through my doctor, that's one of the things that I think was excellent about this doctor. He's very well known. All the programs and systems supporting, especially drugs, new drugs. Providing help to patients, especially on the financial side. As you know, the treatments for cancer are, especially new ones, are very expensive. Surely I could not manage without this program, actually. Thank God I was introduced through my doctor, who facilitated the connection between myself and the company, and finally I am on it. Thank God without them I could not manage ان انا اخد التريتمنت regularly this way. They are actually excellent. Thank God. They're never late from providing arrangement ان انا to obtain the drug وكده. This is very nice.
Right. I'm very happy to hear that you have support in that aspect. So Karima, you were telling me that you are not undergoing chemotherapy. What kind of treatment are you taking right now?
I'm taking hormonal therapy. My biopsy showed that my cancer was responding to hormones. So I was advised to stop to induce menopause. So I'm taking hormonal therapy, and in addition to a target therapy called CDK4 inhibitors, which stop the progression بتاعت dividing of the cancer cells.
I see. So looking back on your experience, is there anything you wish you had known or done differently when you first learned of your diagnosis?
Surely I wish I listened to my sister, which is a doctor, which I told you about. We're living abroad. She actually several times asked me to monitor myself. So my sister continuously advised me to make a mammogram and self check. But actually, finally, afterwards, when I went to my doctor and he checked me, he didn't even he couldn't feel the mass in my breast, as it is in the lower quadrant, inner quadrant, which he could not feel it. He told me you couldn't detect it yourself. This was his wording. But there was the sign of skin rash, which I did not know about actually. I hoped I could be more informed about it. I hoped, but I do not regret anything. I think it's my fate. I would do it maybe earlier, 1 or 2 years. So, but actually, thank God I did catch it. صحيح, it went to the bone, but thank God all the way.
No, that's great to hear, and you sharing your knowledge or information and experience with our listeners, that's the whole reason for why we are doing this talk with you, so that you were not aware about it, but maybe you're passing your experience and details to other listeners who can learn from it. So have you found any sources of support or from the community where you, online or in person, you can talk to people through about your cancer journey and maybe get support from them or learn from them right now?
You mean social and psychological support?
Yes, that's right.
Actually, I don't know about any psychological support here in for me to know. Yani, and I'm just as I know, yani, as you know, I'm just depending on my face, on my and on my own. No, I only programs to support are programs for treatment, not for psychological management.
But you think there should be some kind of psychological
Yes.
support that should be given, right? What is your opinion about that?
I think some people may need it, yes.
Okay.
Some people would need it.
Right. So is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners, something that they can take hope from, they can learn from your experience as a message, or people with breast cancer or others facing a similar situation?
I think everyone should be informed, well informed about everything. Awareness must be more. Young females should test themselves. Should follow through. Yani. I think on about the drugs, yani, to be more available, yani, especially new ones. And I was subjected to one of the hospitals which give treatment. They suggested directly chemotherapy. Yani. I wish someday the treatment would be suggested for the patient, which is most suitable for him, not which is cheapest. I wish every patient can benefit from in new science, in new treatments, which is every day there is a new thing. From 10 years ago, cancer was terminal always. When you know you have cancer, it's the end. So you prepare yourself, you will not be treated. Nowadays, there is a trend to turn cancer into as we know, like diabetes, like there is a trend to make it like this. Yeah. So I wish every patient can benefit from this. I wish in the non-governmental organization work in this direction, sparing the patient search for a drug. It's enough he's suffering from his pain, from his issues related to his disease. But I wish someday everyone can get the newest treatment, whatever it costs.
Right. So I really hope the right people are listening to this advice from a person who is undergoing a whole lot of an experience. This is a first-hand experience she is talking about. Lastly, Karima, I know the future. I just want to ask you, have you thought about your health in your personal life, since it's a life-changing event that has happened to you? Have you changed your lifestyle? Is there anything planned for the future, your hopes and goals for the future, both in terms of health and personal life? Is there anything you have changed and set for yourself now?
Personal goals in my work, I already accomplished what I need, and as I said, it changed my perspective for many things in life. Nowadays, I plan one day. I take it one day stepwise. I don't plan it for long. Just go with it one day stepwise. It doesn't mean I don't have hope or faith in God. No, I have hope and faith in God. I know everyone has his life. He will take it, not missing one day, till the end. So whatever I do, I just lead my life calmly. I don't make fuss about it. If I have some pain, I tell my doctor he can manage it. I try to take my medications on regular basis according to my schedule. The only suffering, I always try to plan ahead, how can I provide for this or that. That's just I'm trying to experience life from a new perspective. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for remaining positive and passing on your positivity to our listeners as well. And I really appreciate you took out the time to share your experience with us. Through her honesty and openness, our guest offers a powerful message of resilience, hope, and the importance of advocating for one's own health. We hope this conversation will provide insight and support to those facing similar challenges and inspire empathy, understanding, and compassion for all those impacted by breast cancer. Battling cancer is challenging. It can impact patients' psychological health, and the cost of treatment may lead to severe financial difficulties. But access to innovative treatment shouldn't be one of them. As an access to healthcare company, Axios International provides complete support that a patient would need at any point in their journey. We also want to encourage listeners to continue seeking out stories and perspectives from those with chronic illnesses. Only through empathy and understanding can we truly support and uplift one another. We also want to hear from you. Reach out to us on social media with your thoughts and comments. Tune in again for another inspiring journey brought to you by Axios International.
Axios, transforming access to healthcare.